Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome to our live, TheKempire Live here on YouTube. I'm here on both TheKempire Daily and Kempire Radio YouTube channels. And shout out to my Facebook family on the TheKempire Facebook fan page. Please do me a favor, like the video, share the video. We're going to be live taking your calls. I posted a link in the chat. I want to hear your opinions. We have to talk about the aftermath of this Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview with Oprah. Yes, they set all kinds of records. They broke all kinds of records, but now the palace is reeling. Everyone's talking. It's such a divisive topic, and I think we need to talk about it. But I want to have a conversation. I don't want to just be me talking about it. I want you guys to call on in. Let me know your thoughts. Good, bad, ugly, it is what it is. I want to have a conversation. TikTok, do me a favor, head on over to Kempire Daily on YouTube or Kempire Radio on YouTube. Join me in the chat. Hey, what's going on with Duke? I see Duke is there. All right. TikTok, I'm going to say bye. Head on over. And I will see you guys later. I'll be on the Kempire Daily and Kempire Radio YouTube channels. All right. So there's so much to talk about. I did want to talk about a couple of hot topics before we jump in to the whole Prince Harry and Meghan conversation. There was a lot that happened. And I want to get some. Piers Morgan got fired. I know he said he quit, but he got fired allegedly. We'll talk about that. Prince William made a statement this week. It's like, what is going on? Just so much. Look, so much is happening. Let me just take this video out here because I want to make sure I show this video to you guys. Let me see what the chat is saying. What's going on? If you want to join the conversation, I've pinned the link. I'm going to post the link again. Call in if you want to share your thoughts. I want to talk about a few hot topics. I want to talk about basketball wives. But breaking news, y'all. Breaking news. J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, and Alex Rodriguez have broken up allegedly. And I believe it because I'm sure somebody from one of their camps leaked the story to Page Six, because Page Six is like, we are exclusively reporting, because sources close to Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez are confirming that they have called off their engagement after 2 years of being engaged alone. Okay. All right, let me just post the link so you guys can call in and share your thoughts. Oh, my girl is here. My girl is here. What is going on, Shantae?
What up?
Shantae, what's going on with the background music? Come on, girl. Come on.
I'm turning it down right now. I was walking over to turn it down as soon as I got on.
I know, I kind of surprised Shantae. Shantae, first of all, everyone is reacting to our conversation. I don't know if you've seen the conversation on Facebook, on the Kempire fan page. Girl, it's pretty bad.
Which one?
It's on the Facebook fan page, TheKempire.
Which conversation are they reacting to?
The Prince Harry and Meghan Markle interview.
The Prince Harry and which interview?
Meghan Markle interview.
Girl, right.
We still hear your background noise. Can you turn it off?
Are you serious? Oh, whoa. Let me turn it down. Hold on 1 second. I am so sorry.
If you're gonna be my little friend on here, we gotta get it together. We gotta look professional.
There we go. I am so sorry. I thought I turned it down enough. All right. Okay.
First of all, thank you for calling in. I appreciate everyone calling in. For those that are just joining us in the chat, again, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and don't forget to share. We have a lot to talk about in regards to the backlash, the aftermath. That's why I'm being dramatic. But there really is the aftermath of this whole Harry and Meghan interview. So many details. But before we jump into that, again, please welcome my girl, Shantae. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
Shantae, I am sweating because I have these bright ring lights on me. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I know this is unprofessional, but I need something. Look, I need something. I had to go grab. Look, whew.
Look, I got my ring light from Amazon about 2-3 weeks ago. It's still in the box.
Girl. Because we would love to see your beautiful face.
Thank you. Thank you. I would love to show you too. I just got to stop being so lazy. I got so much going on.
I know.
But yeah, so the aftermath this week, I was not expecting Piers. I was expecting Piers to have some ish to talk because that's all he does. It's what he does best.
Always.
And I knew that was going to happen. I didn't think that he would get read down to the London fog like he did on that show before he quit.
Wait, can we? Okay, before I don't want to play it too soon because I know people are just getting in the chat. Shout out to everyone that's watching. Again, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and don't forget to share. Look, what else can you do during a panorama? Hang out with us. Just saying.
Right.
I do want to show before we even get to Piers. Look, before we even get to Piers, a lot has happened. We talked briefly about the interview. Right after the interview, we went live here on YouTube and Facebook, and we've been talking about that interview. It set all kinds of records, Shantae. I don't know if you got to see the other footage that we didn't get to see during that 2-hour interview that Oprah shared on CBS this morning.
No, I missed it. So is that on demand too or no?
No, that probably isn't. But you can find it on YouTube. I probably should have.
Okay.
Look, I should have called it up. I apologize to everyone. I was not ready for that part.
Put the link in the chat in case nobody else saw it.
Yes, I definitely will. But matter of fact, look, it is what it is. I'm going to show you guys this video because I think it's worth seeing. This, unseen footage. Okay, hold on. Look. How's everyone doing? Don't forget to show this some love. Show this some love. So in this unreleased footage, Meghan talks about her relationship with her family or lack thereof. So let me see if I can get this for you guys. So come on, people. I thought I had it. No, I want to show what CBS this morning had. Why don't they? Hold on, y'all. Okay, this is it. So this is Oprah explaining some of the things that we didn't see on the interview. So 1 second. And this is why. And I want to share. Look, this is like my 3rd or 4th time on StreamYard. So let me just make sure I get this correct. Okay, there we go. All right, Gail, looking great.
About the candid conversation Prince Harry and Meghan had with Oprah last night, including some of the moments that did not air last night. Oprah joins us now to discuss. Oprah, hey, let's pick it up right where we left off before the commercial break, where Harry wants to make it very clear, it seems, that he did not blindside the Queen. We left, I don't know if you could hear it, with a part where you said, doesn't the Queen get to do what the Queen wants to do? He had made several attempts to see his grandmother.
Yes, and I think that was such an important story to be shared last night. In the process of trying to edit this 3 hours and 20 minutes down to 1 hour and 25 minutes, I'd said to my team, the most important question to be answered here at the end of this show will be, why did they leave? And I think the stories about being blindsiding the Queen were very, very damaging to them and also hurtful because they understood very clearly that there had been months and months of preparation before they actually moved to Canada. And truthfully, there was a statement by the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen, on January 18th, in which she said, following many months of conversations and more recent discussions, I am pleased that together we have found constructive and supportive way forward for my grandson and his family. So the Queen on January 18th actually said that there had been months of conversation, but in spite of that, there were still all of those stories about blindsiding the Queen, blindsiding.
That's why the details are important.
I'm very happy
that is why the details are
that's
important.
Why the details
tabloids print stuff that they know is false and have been told isn't true.
But Oprah, it's
That's
also
right.
the question remains why the Queen cannot dictate who she sees and when she sees them, and it seems to come back to something that Meghan pointed out early, that there's the family and then there's the institution, and you were constantly trying to probe the difference between the two. What did you take away from that?
I took away from that there are, as Harry just indicated, there are people surrounding the family who are advisors to the family who have been there for a long time, and that's a part of the hierarchical structure. And those people have a lot of influence and also input.
You get, I mean, you mentioned last night, Oprah, that you watch The Crown. I do too. You get a sense of that in The Crown, that actually there is almost kind of like a deep state within the monarchy that actually runs the monarchy. But I wanted to ask you, we had Tina Brown on earlier, who said that this interview is like kryptonite for the royal family. And I'm sure Harry and Meghan, when they agreed to have this conversation with you, knew it was not going to make their relationship with the royal family any easier. Mm-hmm. Why do you think they agreed to do it?
Oh, I think they agreed to do it, wanted to do it, were ready to do it, because when you have been lied about for a series of years, I think anybody, you can understand this if in your own office or in your own family, somebody is saying things about you that are not true and how hurtful that is. Or if you're online and you read the comments from something that somebody has said about you and you continue to see those comments, how hurtful that is. So imagine that for over a period of months and years, and you know that it isn't true. I think the most important thing for them, before I do any interview, I have a conversation with whoever I'm interviewing and ask, tell me what your intention is, and I will tell you what my intention is, and let's see if we can align those two, because I don't want you to finish an interview and at the end of the interview say, I wish I had said. And
but Oprah, let's talk about the jaw-dropping moment, the first one, about the color of the baby's skin. Yeah. And you asked Harry about it when he came out. He did not tell you who it was. Did you all have another conversation about it? Because that was something that there's a big guessing game all around the world. Who was it? Who was it? Who wasn't? Yeah. I thought it was very touching that Harry still is choosing to protect the identity of whoever that was.
Yes, and he did not share the identity with me, but he wanted to make sure that I knew, and if I had an opportunity to share it, that it was not his grandmother nor his grandfather that were a part of those conversations.
That it was not his grandmother and Prince Philip, you said?
Yeah, was not his grandfather. Neither his grandmother nor grandfather were a part of those conversations. He did not tell me who were a part of those conversations. Right. As you can see, I tried to get that answer on camera and off.
All right. Oprah, stay with us. You have more never-before-seen clips for us, including Meghan talking about her own family.
Oh, I have to say, thoughts. Shantae, are you still there with me? Did we lose Shantae? I hear you in the background, Shantae. Oh, wait. Shantae! We can't hear you, though. Uh-oh, lost her. We lost her. It's all right. So that was the morning after Oprah's interview with Harry and Meghan airing. Let me add Shantae back. Shantae?
Hey, I don't know what was going on. I was trying to unmute myself and it wouldn't unmute.
Look, technology. Look, it's technology.
Right.
What were your... Oops, sorry. Let me turn this off. What were your thoughts on what you just heard?
So, yeah, because like I said, we were so sure it was one of the older members, the Queen or the Prince Edward or whomever. But I don't know. I'm thinking so it had to either been Charles or Harry. I mean, Charles or William. Keep getting them mixed up. Good Lord.
Well,
because who else could it have been unless it was a distant family member, unless it was Princess Michael, which we already know she trash.
Well,
because it definitely sounds like something she would bring up.
for those that are wondering who Princess Michael is, we will talk about Princess Michael a little bit later on, because I didn't even know of Princess Michael until this whole situation happened. But we'll talk about Michael. I want to focus on some of the unseen things that we didn't get to see in the interview when we went live Sunday evening, right after that interview. And one of the other things that Meghan mentions in the interview, because as you saw, Oprah said this was a 3-hour, 20-minute interview. They had to bring that all down into like an hour and a half for us with all these commercials. So I'm wondering, in those 3 hours and 20 minutes, what did we not hear? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm curious as like how the first meeting went, you know, stuff like that. I wanted more details of like how that, because I didn't see the Lifetime movie about them, but I know they kind of touched a little bit. Yeah, they touched a little bit, but I mean, you know, Lifetime movies are so, you watch those now just to laugh and cringe. And I didn't want to watch that one because I didn't think that was supposed to be funny. So I didn't watch that one. But I mean, now I'm kind of curious. I would have liked to have seen next. I know they touched a little bit on that particular lunch where, like I said, old girl wore the brooch. So I'm curious about other stuff, like other meetings, like other family gatherings and stuff like that.
But there's been a big backlash. And one of the things that I mentioned to you a little earlier was that when this interview went live and we came on and we were talking about it, all of us, a bunch of people called in, and the comments are still coming on my Facebook page in regards to the things that we said, people's opinions about Meghan, people's opinions about Harry, and a lot of them are very negative. Did you expect that?
Somewhat, because I see a lot of people, they're either saying, I don't care, or they're saying things like, well, you know, you're an actress who married into a rich family and now you want to complain and blah, blah, blah. And I keep telling people, yes, I'm sure she knew she was going to be going into a media circus, but I don't think she expected those specific things that happened. And then, you know, some people are saying, oh, you're mad because your family treated you bad, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what, shut up. So it's just the usual negative fodder that I would have expected if I had to expect people to say anything negative.
Yes. Well, you know what? Some of the negative comments were not just from, you know, people that are outside the royal family or outside of Meghan's family. Within Meghan's family, her father spoke out and did an interview with Good Morning Britain. And
like they always do.
And they've been doing this. And one thing
one
thing I want to emphasize, because look, I'm not on anyone's side, because at the end of the day, I don't know any of these people. But with that being said, I feel like the press in the UK have been so adamant about getting information about Meghan, even before she got married to Prince Harry. And just seeing the response of me talking about this on social media or here on YouTube and seeing the amount of views and comments and things like that it can get, I can only imagine how much money is being made at these UK tabloids in regards to this whole drama before, after, and in the future. So I can imagine the amount of money and things that they've offered not only her half sister, but the father. And some of the comments that her father was making was that and this was with Good Morning Britain, and we'll talk about Piers Morgan in a second. He's basically saying that he hasn't been in contact with them. The reason why he communicates with the press is because they don't communicate with him. So that's the natural progression. Let me go to the press and communicate since she won't communicate with me. What are your thoughts on what the father has been saying over the years at this point? Because he's been talking for a while now.
Again, it just leans into my curiosity as to why they're estranged. You know, and it kind of gives credence to why they're estranged, really.
Exactly. And my thing is with the father, there's a lot about Meghan's childhood that we don't really know about. I was under the belief that she was raised by her mother, a Black woman.
Right.
And I'm hearing stories that there was a part of her life where she lived with her father. And I'm not sure how long that was. It could have been maybe a couple of years. I don't know. But Meghan's mother is the only one that hasn't spoken.
Yeah. You know, remember I told you her demeanor at that wedding was just a little telling too.
Very stoic.
She was sitting alone.
And I was wondering too, when I was watching the wedding, I was like, where's like her extended Black family? Like I expected them to come down the aisle, but at the same time, maybe she wanted to protect them because the mother herself has been very demure, very, not public with saying anything, doing interviews, none of that. So maybe that's what she's done with that side of the family. But the other side of the family is talking like, look, the sister has a book coming out.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's like, it's like I said, the only thing it really does is give credence as to why she doesn't have a relationship with them.
Exactly.
It's like you can go talking to the press. Clearly, you can't reach out to her. There's a reason she doesn't want to have anything to do with you, and that's really none of our business. It might have been something traumatic in her childhood that maybe she saw within that family or that part of the family that just made her say, you know what, it's just my mom and me. That's who it is. I don't need them.
Definitely.
Clearly her family is toxic.
Look, I that's what I would think. But when the father was on Good Morning Britain, they made it seem like, oh, she's not reaching out to you. I was like, oh my gosh. But I get it that they have to, that they have to take that sort of position. But speaking of Good Morning Britain, as you know, Shantae, Piers Morgan was, okay, he said he stepped down, but then we found out 41,000 complaints were filed to ITV in regards to the comments that he was making about Meghan Markle after this interview, including Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle called into ITV allegedly and made a complaint, not necessarily just about the things that he was saying about her, but the things that he was saying about mental health. She felt allegedly that it was very dangerous.
It was in bad taste. It was in bad taste. Like, I get it, like those shows like Good Morning Britain, it's opinion, it's commentary. It's supposed to be lighthearted as well. But again, like I said, Piers Morgan is coming out and he's been saying, stuff on the fly about Meghan for a minute. So it's just, like I said, it's gone. Obsessive. Yeah, it's gone from that to insensitive to bad taste. And of course, then him walking off the set when the other guy was getting him together.
Perfect. That's a perfect segue. Can we let's just watch this moment.
Like I said, he read him down to the London fog.
Oh my God. Look, I thought this was an amazing moment. Hold on.
Because it went on for a couple of minutes. It wasn't one shot and a comment back. Him and Pierce went back for about a good 4 or 5 minutes about it. And he held his ground on Pierce. Because Pierce likes to overtalk people.
And look, and I went and did a deep dive on this handsome man. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. But for those that are in the chat, if you want to join the conversation, as I said before, I just posted the link. It's also pinned on the YouTube. I want to hear your thoughts on this whole Meghan Markle situation. I want to play the video of Pierce walking off because I thought it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, I'm going to get in the chat while you're playing the video.
Okay.
And was racist. I understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this program. A number of times. And I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle or had one and she cut you off. She's entitled to cut you off if she wants to. Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no.
Sorry. Do you know what? That's
you can trash me, baby, not mine.
No. I'm being...
Sorry, can't do this.
Absolutely diabolical behaviour. I'm sorry, but Pierce spouts off on a regular basis, and we all have to sit there and listen. 6:30 to 7 o'clock yesterday was incredibly hard to watch. Incredibly hard to watch. This is he has the ability to come in here and talk from a position where he doesn't fully understand.
Okay.
And
I think we need to just all take a break.
I think we all need to not take a break and continue this conversation.
Indeed.
I just think it's so interesting that Piers Morgan can give it but not take it.
Yeah. And I'm sure a few times throughout his career it's been dished on him, and maybe it's just been a very long time since the last time that happened and he was just flustered. So he storms off like a mean girl.
Well, I doubt this will be the last that we'll be hearing of Piers Morgan. I think he, like so many people, he's going to crawl into a hole for a little bit. And then, of course, pop out from somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This personal relationship that his colleague was alluding to, some people said it was a date. Some people said it was a friendship. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was. However, no matter what it is, even if you're a commentator on a show, I don't think it's your duty. Okay, you may not take yourself as seriously as a journalist, but it's not your duty to trash someone on TV every single day for many years. Like, it's obsessive at one point.
Yeah, because there was another clip from maybe a couple of years back where Pierce was a guest on a show, and he was talking about that night that they were hanging out at a pub and what she drank.
Are you going to make me pull that out?
Yeah. So then he put her in a cab and she went to a party that's where she met Prince Harry. So it's like, you know, everybody was commenting saying, well, wasn't Pierce married at the time? So that's where the assumption, I guess, is coming from, that it was a date or whatever it might have been. And we really don't know. But either way, it's like the people were saying, he feels some kind of way about being cut off from her. And she probably, and you know, we don't know the details of what was going on. Maybe he was a little overly flirty. Maybe she felt uncomfortable. And that was like the first and the last meeting they were going to have one-on-one. You know, that we can there's all types of inferences we can make from that, because a lot of the juicy details, the so-called juicy details, weren't given. But that's as much as we have to go on, is from what he said about what, you know, their meeting that night. But he clearly feels some kind of way. I think he may have thought she was a gold-digging social climber, like a lot of people are saying, and that's his opinion. He's sticking to it. And you know,
lot of people, but that's the thing. I need a lot of the commenters and everyone sharing their thoughts on Meghan. You understand that the media really can control a narrative. It can really let you think, oh yes, she was the social climber, but Meghan was doing pretty okay for herself in Canada on Suits, and she had her own couple of $1 million herself. So you know, maybe she wanted more. Good for her. We should all.
And the story about how Kate got in the circle to meet William is well documented. So, you know, where's the smoke for her?
Well, we also saw in the interview where they were talking about the story that came out in the press that Meghan was the one that made Kate cry during her wedding planning, when in reality it was the reverse. According to Meghan,
right.
I'm going to be fair tonight. I'm going to be fair. According to Meghan, this is what Meghan is saying. But I want to show the clip that you just mentioned. I posted this on my TikTok, so as you guys can see on there, if you're not following me, follow.
Turned out to be a cab that took her to a party where she met Prince Harry. And then the next night they had a solo dinner together, and that was the last I ever heard from Meghan Markle. So what happens? She ghosted me, right? Meghan Markle ghosted me. Do you think she just went? I'm afraid I really liked it. This is what happens.
I mean,
interesting.
I mean, he could have been being facetious. However,
right,
there's obviously something personal going on, and I feel like in positions of, and even here when I'm talking about these hot topics on YouTube, yeah, I'm sharing my opinion. But if there was a personal relationship with the people that I'm talking about, first of all, it's just for credibility. It's important to share, you know, beforehand. Like I had this personal relationship on your platform. He did this in an interview. But the fact that he went after her for so long, and he calls himself a royalist. So being a royalist, that makes you not see wrong in anything that they ever do.
Exactly.
Speaking of royalists, Sharon Osborne decided to share some thoughts in regards to Piers Morgan, defending him to the point where it put her in hot water. Shantae, have you seen this story?
I did, yeah.
Well, let's watch the clip. Shout out to ET Canada for getting us this clip. I think it's important for us to see this, because I was infuriated watching Sharon not defend Piers Morgan, but the way that she spoke to Sheryl Underwood. And I think that's where she's been getting a lot of backlash. And then we'll talk a little bit about Holly Robinson-Peete releasing some information about Sharon Osborne as well. Let's watch this video first, though. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to multitask here and do it. All right, here we go.
So I really would like to know, because I've been knowing you for years since I've been here, and I've never seen anything come out of you other than, if I don't know, I'm willing to learn. If it comes off a certain way, I stand corrected.
Right.
That's the only thing I say.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people who may feel that while you're standing by your friend, it appears that you give validation or safe haven to something that he has uttered that is racist, even if you don't agree? Am I saying it right? Okay,
I don't know what he's uttered that's racist. I'm not trying to slide out of this one.
Right.
I don't know. Tell me, what has he uttered that's racist?
Wednesday's episode of The Talk got intense as Sheryl Underwood confronted her co-host Sharon Osborne for supporting Piers Morgan after he made controversial comments towards Meghan Markle following her sit-down interview with Oprah. Throughout the conversation, Sharon became very defensive over her friendship with Piers and even lashed out at Sheryl. Take a look.
I feel even like I'm about to be put in the electric chair because I have a friend who many people think is a racist, so that makes me a racist. And for me, at 68 years of age, to have to turn around and say, I ain't racist. What's it got to do with me? Okay, how can I be racist about anybody? How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
What? We'll be right back.
What?
We have more topics, so don't go away.
And I think we should stop this. I will ask you again, Sheryl.
Yes.
I've been asking you during the break. I'm asking you again. And don't try and cry, because if anyone should be crying, it should be me. This is the situation.
Yes.
You tell me where you have heard him say, educate me. Tell me when you have heard him say racist things. Educate me. Tell me.
It is not the exact words of racism. It's the implication and the reaction to it. To not want to address that because she is a Black woman and to try to dismiss it or to make it seem less than what it is. That's what makes it racist. But right now, I'm talking to a woman who I believe is my friend. And I don't want anybody here to watch this and say that we're attacking you for being racist. And for that, if I articulated,
I think it's too late. I think that seed's already sown.
But that is why I'm saying for me. I'm saying for me. I thought I was asking a question about the perception for other people. That's why I prefaced it with, I've never heard you utter anything racist, but I have felt that Piers was racist in his stance against Meghan Markle. And last time he was on this show, I said as much. I said it when he was on this show.
And what was his answer to you?
He didn't feel that. He didn't feel that it was racist. He didn't feel that the racial statements that he was making were racist. But I was talking to him.
Okay, answer me this one, okay? Because I don't know. I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't like someone, and I think this is for everybody who is born white, if Piers doesn't like someone and they happen to be Black, does that make him a racist?
No.
That's a no.
No.
Right. So why can't it be he just doesn't like her? Why does it have to be racist?
It's almost like, I'm sorry, Sheryl.
No,
it's almost like yesterday when you were talking, Mrs. O, it sounded like he was really upset about, what you were saying is a royalist. Like he is just so like deep into
he is.
honoring the crown and honoring, and do I agree with what he said? No, like you.
No, I don't.
I think he should have walked off set? No. Do I think he should have sat there and listened to his other co-hosts like we're doing right now and having a conversation and learning from each other? I think that's what corrective evolution is about. So much to unpack.
So much to unpack. What do you think of this? Oh wait, I see my girl Lonnie's on. I wanted you to join. Lonnie, what's going on?
Hi, love. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for calling in. Okay, Shantae was about to share her thoughts on what I just showed. Shantae, what were your thoughts?
So I was watching it that day because somebody was mentioning, "Oh, are you watching the talk?" And normally I don't, but I watched it that day. The thing about it, anytime you're having a discussion about racism, somebody is always going to get defensive and uncomfortable. And that's what, so that's what I saw in Sharon was, defensiveness and her being uncomfortable because she didn't understand a point of view. When you're talking, like I said, when this particular subject of race and racism, people are going to be talking about things from their point of view and their perspective, which comes from their direct experiences and observations. And when you're speaking like that, you can only make someone else understand but so much. So Sharon being defensive and uncomfortable, and she had so much time to kind of unpack what she wanted to say and how she wanted to convey it. I think she was stuck too much on being defensive, not just of Pierce, but her particular position. So it kind of left people cringing and feeling some kind of way, and myself included. And I think, like I said, from a non-knee-jerking perspective, not saying everybody gets knee-jerk, but from a non-knee-jerking perspective where I'm trying to be as objective as possible, I get what she was trying to say, but her delivery was just way off.
and the things is, and a couple of things that she said during this clip when she was saying that, oh, how can I be racist? How could you not? what makes her above being racist? And I'm not saying that Sharon Osborne in this particular instance was racist, but I think what Sheryl Underwood was trying to allude to in regards to Piers Morgan is the fact that if you don't call out racism, if you allow racist behavior to happen in the media or things to be said, you're just as bad as the racist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Another thing that she said before I have you speak, Lonnie, is that I'm trying to. Well, Lonnie, you can speak while I gather my thoughts on Miss Sharon Osborne. What are your thoughts?
I definitely agree with Shantae. Like, it is a knee-jerk reaction, and I think I can understand like she wanting to speak her point of view and again her knee-jerk reaction and whatnot. But if you really want to understand someone's perspective, sometimes Sharon needs to keep her mouth shut and actually listen.
She was
and
cussing
understand
too.
someone's point of view and say, I want to understand where you're coming from. And her being defensive does not allow her to understand someone's point of view and their perspective because she has not walked in those shoes. So for the fact that she's getting so defensive and, it almost kind of to me made it seem like as if she was trying to overspeak and get that defensive to try to prove to herself that she wasn't racist. As if she had to prove it to herself. You're like, oh, I'm not, her saying all this, like, well, I'm not racist. And it was almost like she was trying to prove to herself that she wasn't racist by being that.
And she was very fearful of the backlash because she's seen the backlash that other people have gotten. So you could tell that she was getting very heated about that. But at the same time, she wasn't listening. And then when she attacked, and I'm going to use the word attack, Sheryl by saying, don't you cry. Excuse me? I'm like, what? What are you saying? And then when she released an apology, she later released an apology. She didn't. They didn't address it on the show. At least not during my research. They didn't address it on the show, and they didn't. I don't know if she's ever apologized to Sheryl in regards to how she spoke to Sheryl on the show. The other thing is, my girl Holly Robinson Peete came out. Oh, you know what? Let me just quickly read a quick snippet from Sharon Osborne's apology. Matter of fact, I will actually share the screen so you guys can see what I'm reading. So this is Sharon Osborne's very long apology. There's another page to this. Just as you can see, after some reflection, after sitting with your comments and sitting with my heart, I would like to address the discussion on The Talk this past Wednesday. I have always been embraced with so much love and support from the Black community. I can't. And I have deep respect and love for the Black community. To anyone of color that I offended and or to anyone that feels confused or let down by what I said, I am truly sorry. I panicked, felt blindsided, got defensive, and I allowed my fear and horror of being accused of being racist take over. There are very few things that hurt my heart more than racism. So to feel associated with that spun me fast. I am not perfect. I am still learning like the rest of us and will continue to learn, listen, and do better. Thoughts on her apology?
She could have said that during the show. This is my whole thing. She should have said that during the show with her time on there.
I think she was, like I said, mad at Cheryl. I'm sure that friendship is fractured.
That I don't know if she was mad, but like I said, she was just too defensive and too knee-jerk and just she's too passionate in her confusion. You know what I'm saying? Like she just, and rather than just, her apology, if you can call it that, she barely owned it.
Barely.
And like I said, because like I said, racism is one of those slippery, sticky type of things where when you discuss it with certain other people, unlike yourself, if you aren't really taking the time to sit there and have a real discussion, and it's just something you're doing in passing, people are going to get defensive. That's going to make it all the more not confusing, but it's just going to make the whole thing cringe, and it's going to make you want to throw your hands up and say, you know what, forget it. We shouldn't have ever come to this point.
And it makes it very awkward on the show too.
It was very awkward. Well, speaking of cringeworthy, Holly Robinson Peete decided to come out and release her own comments on Sharon Osbourne. She said this in a tweet: "I'm old enough to remember when Sharon complained that I was too quote unquote ghetto for the talk. Then I was gone. I bring this up now because I was mortified watching the disrespectful, condescending tone she took with her co-host, who remained calm and respectful because she had to." Ladies, thoughts?
I can definitely see like Holly Robinson like getting mad, disrespected by Sharon Osbourne, because I have heard stories of her having that kind of tone behind closed doors, and some things that she says is completely inappropriate behind closed doors. Wow. So for me, like even with like the PR statement that she put out there, I think, you know, she didn't say it at the time when she was in this discussion because she needed help writing that PR statement, in my point of view.
I mean, she didn't write one word of it.
It was very PR.
Exactly. It's just like it was very PR, because if she genuinely felt that, she would have said it right then and there, you know. So the fact that this whole situation with the show, and it is a very sticky situation, you know, when you are talking about race, especially on a live TV show.
Right. And the thing about it, Sharon is pretty well versed and trained in PR, since, remember, she managed Ozzy for years. So she did all that talking behind the scenes with people, media, other managers. So, you know, it might not have been written by another person, but she's very trained and versed and knows the ways of PR too. So it, like I said, that statement coming from her did not surprise me at all, the way it came off.
A lot of people,
and not to mention, Sharon has been known to be very aggressive and pushy too. Other roadies and people in the music industry from those years when she managed Ozzy, they got stories. Crazy. So that Sharon was crazy, honey. She was a pistol.
But speaking of Holly Robinson Peete, we all know who Holly Robinson Peete is.
Yep.
Does ghetto come to mind when you think of Holly Robinson Peete?
Absolutely not.
No.
I was shocked.
So I'm wondering, is Sharon referring to her behind the scenes? Because she never came off that way on the show the few times I've seen it. Like I said, I've only seen it a handful of times. So I don't get ghetto from Holly Robinson Peete. I really don't.
And even mind you, look, I don't know Holly Robinson Peete. She might be ghetto behind the scenes. However, a white woman saying that to a black woman,
And remember, Sharon is British. The British are so proper. No matter, like I said, how scary, aggressive Sharon can be, they've got a proper way.
You're
They
so
do.
ghetto.
Right. They've got that way to where they look at somebody who's, I don't want to say they look down, but they definitely look at you in a different way if you don't come off a spot of proper.
Spots of proper.
Yes.
For those that are just joining us, we're talking about the aftermath of this Meghan and Harry interview with Oprah Winfrey, a successful interview for CBS and Oprah production. I hear allegedly that Oprah probably got like $7 to $8 million for this interview. Not Meghan, Oprah, obviously, because she's producing something for CBS and they're making money off of their advertisers. And as everyone saw, there was a lot of commercial breaks. As I said, the aftermath, for those that want to join the conversation, I'm going to post the link in the chat again. If you want to call in and share your thoughts, please feel free to do so. And it's okay if you don't agree with any of us, that's fine. I do want to talk a little bit about Prince William. Prince William was discussed during this interview. And based on what Harry said, there is distance between them. So their relationship has been affected. And everyone's been speculating, who called Archie, who was concerned about Archie being dark. Some people have said Prince Charles. Some people even have said Prince William. I was hoping that it wouldn't be Prince William, especially because Prince William is around my age. And I'm like, I hope he's a little bit more. But you never know. Look, I know people younger than me that are problematic. But I want to play this quick clip of Prince William addressing the media on his way out. And then we can talk about some other things that people are accusing the royal family of. So take a look at this.
And can you just let me know, is the royal family a racist family, sir?
Wouldn't it have been gangster if he was like, well, some of us are?
Out with the truth, damn it.
For those that missed the first part of the reporter's question, the reporter was asking, has he spoken to Harry? He said he hasn't spoken to Harry, but he will be speaking to Harry at some point. I mean, we assume he would be.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I'm hearing rumors that there are people trying to create communication channels between Harry and Meghan and the rest of the royal family. I'm not sure if that includes the institution and the firm. I'm sure the royal family is trying to clean up their act. And you may have seen in that video, the black woman. I didn't even pay attention to that until I saw people starting to comment. Look at the black woman prop that they put in the video. Then stories came out that Prince Charles went to visit. I can actually find the photo to show it to you guys. Where
the house of Jesus or something.
Jesus house. The Jesus house. I never heard of this place before. However, I hear apparently the last time he went here, it was back in 2007. Look, everyone has been in my comments. I just post the news, y'all, and they were saying, these royal visits are planned months in advance. They're on calendars and blah, 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 blah. You're not telling me. Look.
Well, you know what else? It's been said that that black choir that was at their wedding, Meghan's wedding, was invited by Prince Charles.
That story is conveniently coming out right now.
So then you got to wonder, well, were they being calculating to look a certain way, or was that a sincere gesture? You know,
or was this the royal family reaching out to them? Can you reach out and blah blah blah, and we'll make a wonderful donation to your organization?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm trying to play devil's advocate. That's not what I necessarily believe, but there are a lot of people accusing Prince Charles allegedly of being the person that Harry's talking about. Because as you saw Oprah say in her interview with CBS this morning, she made it clear that Harry wanted to make it clear that it was not the Queen or Prince Philip that were questioning how dark Archie might be. So as you
I think it was his father.
Jesus house. What are you saying, Lonnie?
I think it was definitely his father.
Oh, why do you think that?
Which he has no room to talk it with his trifling self with Camilla. But so, I mean, if it wasn't his grandmother, and I really don't think it would be his brother, because I think his brother would genuinely just be happy that he found someone. And I really don't think his brother would really care. and his brother has other things on his plate to worry about that. And he grew up more in a, modern civilization versus his father and urban civilization. You know what I mean? So I don't really see that being his brother. It would have come from, I really
I'm hoping
do
not.
see it. Yeah, I really do see it more so coming from his father, who would probably have that kind of ignorance.
Which is, oh my God, I'm just, I don't know. Look, this conversation on racism and colorism, it's just becoming bigger and bigger in the last few weeks, even though look, I understand it existed for hundreds of years. However, the conversation is showing up in so many different areas because I report on not just, pop culture, but other news stories. And I'm just seeing it pop up so much. And it's an important conversation to have. And I wanted to point out this comment here from Lisa. She says, Prince and Princess of Michael of Kent, they are messy racists. Let's talk a little bit about this lovely woman. Hold on, let me just give y'all a lovely picture of this lady. Look, let me give you a little picture. Look.
I saw that TikTok that you copied of the other guy that was talking about, and those crazy comments, because I saw his TikTok first. And then I saw it again. I'm like, oh, okay, TheKempire.
I'm on it.
I'm like, none of that surprises me that she said that mess. None of it.
This is Princess Michael of Kent. And for those that are wondering, that's not her real name. That is her title. And that's the same similar title that is bestowed upon people that marry into the royal family. Like Kate could technically go by Princess William of blah, 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 blah. Or Meghan could go by Princess Henry of blah, 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 blah. Just a quick lesson. For those that are wondering, the coldest water bottle, the link in the description, if you want a discount of 10%, just use the code KEMP10. I love my look. I love my cold look. I love it. Quality. But yes, she's made some remarks. She's met Meghan at a holiday party, and she wore this brooch that was racially offensive.
The blackamoor, they called it.
Yes, the black. I'm going to do an actual video all about her, but I wanted to mention her here because there's more stories about the Princess of Kent. I'm going to add Puna.
My name's Kwanye.
Kwanye, what's going on, Kwanye? What are your thoughts?
Hey, Kwanye.
Hi, Kwanye.
Hey. I just want to say that I actually heard a lot of interesting theories on TikTok from like people from Britain, and they were saying that if the royal family had embraced Meghan fully, that they could have lasted another 40, 50 years.
I did see that too.
Especially like with the reaction that British people are having, that they're probably not going to last like 5 to 10 years. And that
I've seen that as well. And I said this, I stopped by Sherelle's World to talk about this hot topic this week, and I'll post links in the description of this video later so you can see what the conversation there, because it was divisive in the comment section there as well. And I have to say one of the things that I said was that I thought it was important that the royal family evolve, and they're refusing to evolve. And a lot of people are saying, oh, the royal family brings a lot of tourism to the UK. But with that being said, eventually people are getting tired of the royal family. I'm sure that's not the biggest thing that brings people to the UK anymore. I think, and I said this as well, I think part of the reason why they were trying to downplay Meghan and not have her go out with friends and things like that was because they saw another Princess Diana on their heels. And we saw, they were not very happy about Princess Diana and her becoming this huge figure in the media.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of people from Britain. Like I have a lot of friends over there, and they said that the British media does not reflect exactly how the public feel about Meghan. That there are actually a lot of people who don't mind her and who actually did like her. So like when they see all this media being pushed, and it's making a lot of people not feel okay with the royal family, especially with racist allegations and the fact that their taxpayer money is supporting that. They said they're pretty much done, and there's a lot of like past colonies that are getting rid of her as the head of state that were still head of state, and basically this is the end of the monarchy.
I mean, I keep seeing that. I'm not sure. Look, I don't live in the UK, and I want to preface that because I've seen a lot of comments. And I try to read as much comments, but sometimes, look, reading the comments is not good for your health, your mental health. But I'm gonna add. There we go. Why am I hearing myself, Dante? Okay. So yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen that this is the end of the monarchy, because there are still a lot of people in the UK that still are very loyal to the Queen. You know, I've seen a lot of people say that grew up there. They grew up learning to be royalists, quote unquote, or, you know, being very loyal to the Queen, to the family. They look up to them. Look, and I'm okay with that. That's your culture. That's a part of your culture. But I wouldn't allow that to be blind to what might be really happening behind the scenes. And when strangers come into the families, sometimes that really exposes things that we don't want to see. I want to make a comment about this comment. Lisa says, William tried to talk Harry out of marrying Meghan. So this kind of goes back to what Alani was saying in regards to William. I'm not sure what the relation. I actually thought that maybe those two couples got along really well, but hearing from Meghan that Kate made her cry during her wedding planning, now I'm looking at her in a whole different way. How come I got two Lonnies on my answer? Lonnie, are you there?
I know. I turned the phone sideways and then it just cut me out.
Oh. Lonnie, what were your thoughts on what we've been talking about?
I do want to say too, and I came to another revelation too, and I've seen this, you know, posted in the media a lot as well, is that, you know, I do feel that, you know, the royals definitely did see Meghan as another Diana, because she is you know, she's a strong minded woman, just like Diana, you know, but
maybe stronger.
Yeah, and their whole purpose was just to do good, and you know, they see that as a threat, because they don't want her to be as, you know, overpowering. And I feel like she was overshadowing Kate, and Kate did not like that, because everything was all about Meghan, and not Kate. So I really feel like there was an issue there, and I think that was also an issue why the brothers, when they were dating and when they were engaged, why they kind of had some issues there between the brothers. And I think Kate had an issue like, well, I don't like Meghan, and, you know, because she is getting all of the attention. I think that pressure from Kate, you know, that William was getting from his wife, I feel like he was getting a lot of pressure, and that caused a rift between the brothers.
Wow.
But again, blame the Black woman. You know, they put that all on Meghan. Meghan was portrayed as the villain, as causing a rift between the brothers, when I really think it was Kate, because Kate was being overshadowed, and she's the one that's actually supposed to be, you know, next in line to be queen. Well, after, you know, Charles and whatnot. But they're obviously, William and Kate are going to live a lot longer, so she's really going to be next in line to take over. So I think that there was some jealousy in regards to that, and who knows, maybe even Kate threw that out to William in a conversation, as far as like the child's skin color, and William went back and told, you know, Harry. So who knows, it could have came from Kate, you know, that comment in regards to that. So
oof. You just dropped a thought in my head. Okay, Shante, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It had to have been maybe just some, probably, unfortunately, even casual talking about it, which is sad that they talk so casually about something like that. They bring it up at all. But yeah, maybe she brought it up, and after this week, I think that the talk of, well, who said it's going to get a little old, even though it will always be in the back of our minds. But yeah, that's a possibility.
I'm not that concerned about who said it. I want to play devil's advocate, because, you know, I know and if you're from the UK, you want to call in, please feel free. I posted a link in the comment section. But there are a lot of people that feel like Prince Harry and Meghan have been hypocrites. What are your thoughts on that? I can't pronounce. I'm so sorry. Say again?
Kanye.
Kanye. There. Oh, all I got to do is think Kanye and say Kanye. There we go. Kanye, what are your thoughts on people saying that the couple, the Sussexes, the Duke and Duchess, formerly, were hypocritical in some of the things that they did while they were senior royals, like being for the environment and taking, private planes. Like there were a few things that people said that they were hypocritical about. And some people say that she was a social climber. What are your thoughts on that?
One, I really don't think that she was a social climber at all. Like, I don't feel that way at all. I don't know why people would feel that way. I guess you can see why, but I don't think that at all. But I do remember especially her talking about the environment and how big it was at the time that her and Harry went on a private plane while William and Kate would fly with other people. And I remember thinking in my mind, like, I just thought that's how royals did it. Like, I just thought like that they flew by themselves. So I don't really know how that's hypocritical. But at the same time, it's like that. I thought that's how they had their safety and security.
Lisa says Kate has always been very competitive, even in her relationship with William. Lisa, you got some tea going on. And she also says Meghan put out a cookbook. Oh yeah, I remember that cookbook. Kate pops up making traditional Christmas cake. Meghan empowers women in finding jobs. Kate's building kids' playgrounds. It goes on and on. Wow.
But so what if Meghan was a social climber?
Yeah.
I don't see what's so bad about that.
Yeah.
I don't either, but you have to remember culture. In the UK, being a social climber might be one of the lowest things you can be.
But see, like I said, based on how Kate was supposedly placed by her parents, that's social climbing.
Oh.
And they didn't seem to have a problem with that.
Exactly. She's a social climber. She didn't come from royals at all.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, they treated Kate and William like this was some commoner prince fairy tale love story, but then Meghan is just labeled as social climber. No, they're not.
And not to mention, Meghan was an actress. She was doing pretty well on her own. Princess Grace was an actress.
It was a popular show, and
so yeah,
money from that.
I mean, I could talk about this for forever because so many people are also talking about the titles. People were looking at the videos that I posted on TikTok in regards to Meghan talking about wanting Archie to have titles. We spoke about this a little bit on Sunday, that in the interview, she says that, once Charles becomes king, automatically that would make Archie and this next sibling a prince and princess. But supposedly they were trying to change whatever law or precedent for that. But at the same time, I think it was confusing for people because I think people were confused as to, did she want them to have titles now? Because technically they it's up to the queen to give them titles, if at all. But I think what Meghan was trying to say in that instance is that she wanted her children protected. And if titles meant that they would be protected, please give them a title. Because at this point, they didn't have any protection. They were, in Canada, and they took Harry's protection. It's like, y'all don't care about your own blood?
Right. Like, why is there any question about protecting a royal baby, regardless of who it is?
Because the royal baby has black blood. They were concerned about his skin complexion.
Exactly. Like, that part was so weird to me too, because I kept imagining in my mind that even if they didn't have a title, you'd assume that as members of the royal family, they would be guaranteed protection.
And if anything, that's all the more reason to maybe want to protect Archie.
And I think not all the royals, and this is the thing, I want to play devil's advocate, not even devil's advocate, not all the royals have protection. But we have to remember that Meghan and Harry were considered senior royals. They were very active within the family in regards to the charities and things like that. So that would make sense. And also, we can't forget that Meghan is considered a black woman, no matter what. Look, I've seen black people say she's not black, she's passing.
Yeah.
Look, the family don't know nothing about passing. The family's like, oh, she's biracial, she's black. Oh, okay. That's all they're seeing. You know what I mean? Alani, thoughts?
I mean, it was very shocking at the fact that they didn't want to provide protection. So the fact that you're letting your grandson, you're letting and his wife and their, child and soon to be children, because they'll be having another one soon, to just be out in the free world without any type of protection. It's just like, it almost kind of made it seem like they wiped their hands of them and, to take away their protection, and whatnot.
Almost petty.
Yeah, it was. And the fact that, when she talked about titles and having, Archie have a title, people dragged Meghan in comments and interviews and things like that because, they were saying, well, you can't have it both ways. You wanted to walk away. Why do you need a title? I mean, and just completely dragged her. But I understood her point of view. And I mean, everyone's going to have their point of view on that. But my point of view is I can understand her, son and her soon-to-be daughter having that title and that protection. And not only that, that's their legacy. Whether they like it or not, that is their legacy.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I want to stress, when they were having these conversations, they were still senior royals. They were still within the family.
Right.
So, when she had Archie, she was still a senior royal. They are officially not senior royals now within, since 2020. And now it's official. So I just didn't understand why people really just want to hear what they want to hear. And look, it is what it is. I'm not here to convince anyone. I wanted to read this comment from Data all the way in New Zealand. He says, over here, the mood is very mixed about the interview. Headlines saying it was a branding plan. And then some say that they should move to New Zealand. We all want to move to New Zealand.
Beautiful there.
We all went, like, I think they should as well. But I think they're fine. I think what they have in California, they have her mom, and I'm sure any sort of extended family on her mom's side there. So I can see there's more support, especially now that she's pregnant. There's more support there.
Yeah.
Any last minute, I'm gonna go to Kwanye. Last minute thoughts on anything that we talked about tonight. In regards to how do we go? Like, where do we go from here, Kwanye?
I think it's going to be about. I think a lot more stuff is going to be revealed, especially after I think it was Meghan's friend did that interview. That's to prove that the British knew about Meghan's mental state and still didn't do anything.
I talked about that on my podcast this week about them not addressing that and how serious that is when someone's asking for help. And one of the things that I've seen a lot of people commenting on, they're like, she was a millionaire, or Harry has the resources. Why didn't you go to Harry? But one of the other scary things that she mentioned in the interview is that they had control of her passport. They had control over those little, if someone has your passport, they really do have control over the ins and outs of your life. And her just going into a mental health facility is not going to be that simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shantae, last minute thoughts on anything that we discussed tonight.
Yeah, I think the smoke has cleared a little bit, but just like she was just saying, I think eventually some mess is gonna start up yet again. Probably maybe when they make their next trip to the UK. Everybody's gonna be watching them like hawks now, just nitpicking at every little thing to say about her. And unfortunately, I think this is how it's going to be for the rest of her life. How they treat her, at least the press, anyway.
Jerome says in the comments, a family that conquered the world with racism is racist. Who'da thunk?
Yep.
Right.
Lonnie, what are your last minute thoughts?
I'm glad that she, did the interview. A lot of people have mixed reviews, of her. She should have done it, or they're happy that she did do the interview. A lot of people are just like, why is she doing the interview? I'm glad she spoke her truth. Whether people want to believe it or not, you can't hate someone for speaking their truth and how they want to speak their truth.
Yes.
And not have someone speak it for them. So I'm at least glad whatever platform she decided to choose, how she chose to do it, I'm glad that she spoke her truth and her experience, because you never really, for a lot of people that think that, well, she knew what she was getting into until you are really in that house with the doors locked and the shades drawn. You really never know what is going down behind true closed doors. And she really got to see that. We saw all of that with issues like she was having with mental health, and the support that she was not given and things like that. So I'm just glad that she spoke her truth and her own words. And I think a lot more is going to be revealed. And I just think that she's just going to have a long road of having a lot of negativity from the press, especially in the UK, as Shantae said, forever.
Lisa in the chat said no passport, driver's license, or money. So they had a lot of control over their lives. Before I let you ladies go, can you just let people know where they can follow you and information about you? We'll start with Kwanye. Where can people keep in touch with you if you want them to?
My TikTok is just my name, Kwanye McLean. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Kwanye, for being here. Shantae, where can people keep up with you?
TikTok at Sold in the DMV, and on Instagram at Shantae Nicole.
Perfect. Lonnie.
I am on TikTok at Miss_Lonnie, so you can check me out on TikTok.
Thank you, ladies, so much for being here and having the conversation with me. It makes life so much easier when we have these conversations.
And so much
fun. So much fun. Absolutely. I was going to say the same thing. And I can't wait to come on with my housewife gossip when I start watching the other housewife shows, because I do not watch Salt Lake City and I've been missing Dallas. And I don't watch Atlanta anymore, so.
Well,
until Potomac.
Potomac is filming, and we're going to need that tea, Shantae. Just
yes,
saying.
And you will get it.
Exclusive besides
you will
everybody
get the
else.
tea. Absolutely.
Thank you, ladies, so much. I'm going to drop you guys before I say goodbye. Thank you guys on the TheKempire Daily and TheKempire Radio YouTube channels. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss out when we go live or when we upload. I got a couple of ideas, and I probably will be going live this weekend. So I don't want you to miss out on the conversation. And always feel free to call in. This is how we stay connected. And as I said to you before, the coldest water bottle, there's a link in the description of this video. You can get a 10% off with the discount code KEMP10. I loved having this conversation. As I said to you before, my hope is that everyone, both on Harry and Meghan's side and the royal family side, is able to find some sort of common ground so that the family can be together, because there is a family. There are children now involved. So that's really, really important. I know a lot of people are upset about the racist accusations, about everything that you want to say. But as I said before, let's remember a family is involved. That's the most important thing in my head. We could talk about the monarchy till we're blue in the face. But we have to remember the royal family is a family. And if their evolution has to come because of this, I think it was about time. Thanks so much for tuning in. As I said before, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, Facebook. I see you guys. I love the fact that you had such a big reaction to our first video. I want to hear your thoughts on this video. And let me know if you think I'm wrong. I'm okay with that. I want to have the conversation. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I'll see you guys very soon.